I feel like
The Guar shirts?
It's close. Yeah, it's so close to Christmas that I don't want to. But I also don't trust that anybody would know me well enough unless I go, I want these, and then in that case, I'll just buy them.
I hate that. What you're just like
I know my wife is not going to pick up on any hints, or even if I go, I want these 2 shirts. I didn't buy them because Christmas is coming up.
Well, dude,
and then I'll just see a $60 charge a couple weeks from now, and I'll just be like, oh, and then it'll be 2 different shirts.
By the way, welcome to Drag the Lake. My paradox with the Christmas shit, and I'm always like, I don't like when people give me a whole list because it just feels, I want a present from the heart and da-da-da. So I do that to myself. And then when I go Christmas shop for my family, I go, I don't know shit about these motherfuckers.
Give me a literal list.
Give me exactly what you want.
Well, that's
because my brother's like that. My brother's into fucking Warcraft. Warhammer. And I'm not shitting on Warhammer, but I don't know fuck all about it. And when I look into it, I'm always just like, what is any of this?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I got him a fucking figure one time. I'll give him props. He showed me some of these figures he painted. You paint a lot of them and shit in Warhammer. Mm-hmm. Dave's a goddamn artist. Shout out to Dave. He paints the hell out of these fuckers. But I got him one year. It was like $60.
God damn.
It was like it was the height of this beer can. Dude, it was like that tall. And I go, what are you doing? And
but that's your hobby.
Bro. But yo, that's an expensive hobby. When you see them play that game, they have to get their whole armada or whatever the fuck it's called on a fucking folding table. And like just knowing that a little dude is $60, I'm like, this is like $10,000.
Yeah.
You got to pay $10,000 to play this fucking game.
Imagine if all of you had children.
Well, that's the thing. You can't do both.
What?
Well, if you do, I think you either have to be, you can be anyone who's single, or you have to be, if you're married with kids, you have to be real fucking successful. Yeah. So you can, because I feel like real fucking successful people like that can figure out free time to play Warhammer.
Yeah. But also, how successful are you going to be if? I mean, I guess it's just your thing. It's just your hobby.
You know what the problem is? That Henry Cavill guy who played Superman, he's the one that throws the wrench into this. Where Warhammer, he plays Warhammer like hardcore. So Warhammer dudes are always just No, he does. No, there's been clips where they bring up like random shit out of nowhere.
Like nerds are trying to catch him.
Yeah, and he bodies them on like the dude's like locked. Dude, he was on The Witcher. He literally stopped acting on The Witcher because it wasn't faithful to the book. Like the dude's a like tried and true nerd.
A gorgeous dork.
Gorgeous dork. Gorgeous dork, dude. But he's so funny because he's like it's so funny because I feel like nerds point to him to like validate their Warhammer addiction. And it's just like, and once again, I was joking before on No More Heroes. I play a shit ton of Call of Duty, but you got to hit a point where you go, I'm going to leave the house. You got to leave the house. It's what the kids say, touch grass. Got to touch grass at some point.
Have you left the house today?
I'm gonna. I have a spot. I have a spot at 11 p.m. So I'm gonna. I had to podcast with my friend because I turn everything into podcasts. So my depressing behavior is research.
There it is. Yeah. See.
Yeah.
I can't think of like. There's a lot of hobbies that I have. I guess you would call jujitsu technically a hobby, right? Like that's something that I'd spend a lot of money on.
It's actually a good question, and we have a lot prepared, but let's take the time to like get into this question.
Yeah,
I would say it's not your profession, but I feel like something that has real world application to it.
Yeah,
is
it's
like
hard to say
more than a hobby.
You're right.
Jiu-jitsu actually lets you.
That's more of an investment. There's an investment. There's investments, and then there's hobbies.
Because I feel like hobby is, well, even if I was gonna say
because there's also an exercise element to it as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like so there's like hobby exercises and then there's like exercises. There's like jazzercise or running. You know what I mean? Like you can run anywhere essentially.
I think like a hobby's like making models or collecting Pokemon cards.
So yeah, I don't know if I used to do like collectible stuff, like action figures or like stuff. But then even after a while with that, like I literally just came to a realization. It was right as or maybe right after Pop figurines were
Funko
becoming.
Pops?
Yeah, were getting really, really big, and then they
Yeah.
started making everything Funko Pops.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I was like, there's nothing. This is nothing.
Yeah.
This is literally just
You literally collected action figures?
like I had like a handful. Like it was kind of. I tried comic books for a while.
Dude, for me,
Certain things, but like there's like if there's no. Even with comic books, I was buying the graphic novels, but also each single issue in the graphic novel and just never opening it.
yeah.
And just collecting that
Dude,
way.
that's
but-
that's when hobbies start becoming not fun.
I didn't enjoy it. Yeah, I didn't.
why I
There was no
was-
joy to it.
Well, like I joke that I go like everything I'm into, I make a fucking podcast out of. But I realize like I also too I like doing Drag the Lake because which by the way we have a lot of topics to get to.
So many topics.
But I like doing Drag.
Guys, can you just if you? I'm sorry. I know I interrupted you.
Yeah.
But if you could just get to this point because we got.
No,
tons
I
of-
know we got a lot. This is like the little fucking.
Right. We're not here to talk about hobbies.
We're a little schmooze before the pod to
Right.
sort of like.
That's a little.
But no, for real though, I like doing Drag the Lake because I go. There's a lot. The fucking Matt Honeycutt from Kubicon when people were coming at him because God forbid he likes a Trump post.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I don't think there's enough voices in this space like us, and I think the opinions we have are top notch, and I want to get them
That's
out
why
there.
we're here to share them.
Yeah, and we're gonna do that.
So we're gonna
real
wrap up this.
soon.
We're gonna wrap up this hobby thing.
Yeah, we're gonna do that real soon. It's the same thing with No More Heroes. Like we're getting into. That's why I wanted to do the shift into like specific conspiracy stuff and alien stuff because I think a lot of people there are just clouding up the space with a lot of extra bullshit.
Right.
But no, gets to a certain point where like, because I always think about. Well, I may do it eventually on stream because I did them back in the day, like cooking streams, and people told me they really enjoyed them, so I may do it. But there is also, well, actually, what am I talking about? I Could Eat with Mike, but like I remember I was thinking about that more so with Pokemon, where my brain, I was collecting Pokemon cards for a little bit again. And my brain immediately starts going like, all right, I can make these type of YouTube videos, and then I could, I was getting real deep into it, thinking about that, and I go, no. Like, you're gonna ruin this for yourself.
Life is my hobby.
Yeah.
Like if it's about spending money on things that bring you no value, my life is my hobby. Like I continue to eat and breathe and sleep, and
I think hobbies are important, though. That's what I
everything
realized.
costs me money, and I make no money. So
That's why I've been getting. That's why I've been getting into fucking Dune lately and science fiction shit because I realized I don't ever like do shit to fucking do shit. I get very obsessive over my shit, whether it be stand up, podcasting, all that stuff.
damn, I don't think I have a hobby. I don't think I have I don't play video games. I don't fucking. I guess MMA, like liking MMA, but I don't even spend. I just buy the pay-per-views. I mean, I don't like. Damn, dude, I don't fucking have a hobby. Holy shit.
Well, no, I mean MMA is kind of your thing.
Yeah,
MMA is like your side thing.
I don't know what I do for. I don't know if I have fun.
Well, I think also too.
God damn.
Well, you and me aren't professionals yet, but we also.
This is almost making me not want to talk about all the stuff we have planned.
no.
Like
I mean,
I'm really having an existential
no, I
crisis
mean,
here. I
don't.
don't think I have a hobby.
This is tough, Pat. We do have a lot of stuff planned, and I would like to get to it, but this does seem
That whole
important. So,
notebook, it's just
if
have
we,
piles and piles. It's just right over here,
Yeah.
just piles of topics.
well, wait, I mean, we could. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at the top of the pile.
I pointed at the first pile. I wasn't talking about that second
But
pile.
we have a lot of stuff planned, but this also seems very important. So if we need to focus on this for,
I'm a little nervous.
I mean, dude, if we need to focus on this
What are we
for 52 more minutes,
we're at 8 minutes.
we've only been going for 8 minutes.
What the fuck? No,
God,
no, but seriously, I don't think
we have to
shows, music.
Well, I think
guess.
it's weird when you do. I've had the same sort of existential crisis, but you realize stand up was your hobby.
Yeah.
And podcasting was your hobby. Now, technically, we're not making a living at either of those yet.
But now we want it to.
The involvement, the way you've involved yourself in it, it's more just an extension of your personality, not so much a hobby.
Yeah.
So it is like, I think stand-up and podcasting was your hobby.
They
for the
were
longest
there.
time.
Yeah.
And now you need a new thing. That's why I've been actively trying to get myself into other shit. That's why I've
Damn,
been,
I need a new hobby.
the thing that I've been having fun with. I need a new hobby.
Wait, but that would imply. So you're right. I do agree with that analysis because stand up and podcasting or even music like being in bands and stuff, because I thought
Yeah.
about that. It's not that I don't want to do that anymore. I do want to do that, but I just don't have the, like, I guess the money, time, or whatever available because of all, now that I've turned
Well, that's the thing.
those other, I guess what were they were hobbies before, into technically obligations.
Yeah.
So now it's not even like,
Like
now it's like I'm gotten to the point. It's like I wouldn't go into building model airplanes. I need to go into find a new hobby with the right intention. Now I need to go into it with the hobby intention, not the one day I'll be able to monetize this.
One day I'll be a virtuoso at this.
Yeah, yeah.
No, hobbies are things where you're like, if I never actually get good at this, I don't care. If it's an activity, I mean, it's hard to be bad at collecting cards. You just kind of, I mean, I guess you could
Yeah.
store them wrong.
A hobby is just a thing you're interested in that you want to do.
Yeah,
Right?
And that's actually how I was approaching Dune, where I was like watching it, being legitimately like, oh, this is like a lot more interesting than I thought. Let me dig a little bit deeper in. It's like I'm not correlating it to another aspect of my life where I'm like, this will get me better at this, and then
Yeah.
this will make the podcast better. It's literally just like, it's literally just a thing where I like this. I'm gonna go watch the Dune show.
That's what I'm saying, is I don't know if I have that.
You
except
need
for
that
maybe
too.
Yeah,
I would definitely implore you to look for that, because having that thing where when you're doing it, everything else gets kind of turned off
Yeah.
is nice.
Jiu-jitsu is kind of that, but I haven't done that in a little bit.
I think jiu-jitsu can still be considered a hobby, but hobbies are weird when they sort of become a regimented part of your week. Where
Yeah,
you're like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You're like, I have to hit jiu. How many times do you go? Like 4 times a week?
I haven't been in a couple of weeks, but I would go usually. I would try at least 3 days a week.
Oh, okay.
But I would try, like, if I, like, before, when it was less obligation otherwise, I feel like I would go, like, I would try 4 or 5 days. But honestly, I will say this: I can't do it anymore and treat my body the way I do.
Yeah.
Like, I actually have to. I noticed that the older I've gotten now, that I have to, with that hobby, at least I would have to, like, actually change my life. And it does kind of coincide with it, because it's an exercise and all those things, but I have to change the way I, like, function. Like,
Yeah.
I can't eat like a dickhead anymore. I got to probably try other exercises as well, get more rest, all this other
funny
shit.
if you were like, wow, I can't eat like a dickhead anymore, and then you pause and go, I guess I can't do jujitsu anymore.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, now that I'm working, like actually have to do like manual it would be, I think, different if it was comedy working nights.
Yeah.
Because I actually have to be there at like 5. Like,
Well,
there's a time I have to be there.
Well, that was,
but if me working now is like, I can't.
For anyone who doesn't know, Pat's slanging bergs at the fucking crick. Well, no, I was realizing that for you when we were all hanging out, because like the way your job is, you're able to kind of like converse occasionally and stuff. So.
Yeah.
I wasn't even noticing it, and then I remember at the end of the night, I'm like watching you push the mop bucket, and I go, "Oh, like Pat's at a job."
Yeah.
You gotta
Yeah.
do job shit.
Yeah, and they're not ball busters or anything. I haven't gotten like reprimanded about lollygagging or any of that shit. Like, they're not dickheads or anything.
They're super chill there.
I'm just in that mindset of like, I want to get done with work.
Well, that's the thing.
Then I'm like, oh shit, I turned this into work.
Well, I used to cook a bunch, and that was the thing. The dinner rush was crazy, but a lot of the stuff was kind of chill.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of closing shit you can really do until you close. And then it's funny, you see a lot of the dudes, and I'm not saying you're like this, but because you're fucking booking it the whole time I see you there, but I would notice it. There'd be the guys you would work with that were like real fucking lazy.
Yeah.
And then when closing came around, you're like, okay, so you can move.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
the
yeah.
fact that you want to fucking leave.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, I try to hustle the beginning of the shift to get as prepared for the shift as possible, so I don't have to do as little.
If you're not fully prepped, you're fucked.
But then, like, if you're fully prepped, it's too easy. Then
Yeah.
you're like, fuck. Then you kind of get like tricked, and then like you might get fucked by something else. But either way, I'm the person that's like, I'll come. Like, that's kind of been the best part of that, is the fact that like you've probably done it a couple times where you go to the creek and like, and maybe you're like early, or maybe like you didn't actually plan on meeting anybody there, but you just popped in, and you like open up the back thing and you like look around, you're like, yeesh. And you're like, but then like it's like 3 or 4 people, and they all saw you, and you're like, I can't just close the door.
You've walked out
yeah,
a
you're
nut
like,
where you're like, especially too when it's the people you know, but you're not like.
No, I'm saying strangers even like not like when I like open it up and I don't know anybody,
Yeah.
but like also I'm like, well, this I just feel like it's not like
what a bad creek night.
yeah, it's just not it's not going to be and I'm not like I don't know if I want to just sit out here and wait for somebody to come or I'll just go walk around more.
What's the super bad joke where it's just like where he's just like where he's leaving lunch, he's like, oh, you just made me sit alone, like what was the guy's name, Steve something or other?
yeah, exactly.
You're just a dickhead sitting in the corner of the creek by yourself.
But if I'm working and I'm just sitting back there by myself, I'm just taking a little break.
You just take a break ski.
Yeah, I don't have to. And also if somebody engages me that I don't. It does suck when it's somebody I am having a fun time talking to. Yeah. And I have to go check the orders. But also if I'm like, well, I have an excuse to leave.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
That's why it's
that's why those are the upsides, but
cigarettes are always magical. But then if you walk out in that situation, you have no one to talk to. Dude, I'm smoking a cigarette.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And me if I want to bring out like then I'm like, "Oh, yeah, no. I wanted to look at my phone outside." I just wanted to look at my phone outside.
There's
more I just wanted to see what it looked like.
Better light out here.
Yeah.
For
this is much better. But I don't. But having an obligation type job of even if it's just 4 nights a week, it's still kind of that also cuts into hobby time because then I'm like I'm not going to sit here. To me, the brain off part is nice, but also like. I'm also like, yeah, but I have to do something later on. I don't know what it is. My brain does not work with like just do it for whatever. It has to. There has to be a reason for me to do it.
I'm very similar with that. That's like the balance I've tried to keep with a lot of the shit, and I feel it a lot of times with like the music stuff. It's that catch-22 where I feel like sometimes the fact that I've turned a lot of shit with like music and conspiracies. Into a potential career, it has sort of zapped a level of the fun.
Yeah.
Because then there's more pressure. It's not as like pure fun because then there's like more pressure where you're like, oh, I have to like that's why I was joking about it, but that's why I sat here. Like I woke up today I woke up at 9, I got out of bed at 10, and I basically sat here playing video games till you came listening to fucking space shit about the moon because I felt I didn't prepare enough and I need to. So now it's like I could have watched an episode of the new Dune show I really like. I could have read a chapter of the fucking book I'm reading, But I had to sit here for hours listening to alien shit because I wanted to make sure I didn't sound stupid on a podcast. So it's like that. But at the same time, like last night yesterday was Wednesday when I was at the Creek.
Yeah.
I was sitting around with Pete and these like 2 comics I just met. And dude, it was so funny because one of the comics, I've only talked to him like 2 times. He's a really good guy. And he threw out conspiracy feelers. Like I think he made a joke about a certain thing, and I go, for real though? And then we started talking.
Yeah.
And I just went off. Like there's a lot of times you'll see me at the Creek and I'll be sitting there kind of quiet, but if someone like brings up some conspiracy shit and I bring up like, oh, have you ever heard of DARPA? And they go, no, tell me about it. Like I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
And that's like the other flip side. I'm well researched so I can talk about this stuff, and I still do kind of have more fun with it. But yeah, it is that there's with the podcasting and stuff, there is a balancing act where you're like, I want to make sure I'm prepared, but I also don't want to ever feel like I'm not having some sort of fun doing this.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like that, all of the things. What I learned about the way I learn, at least from back in high school and shit like that, was like I'm a crunch guy usually too. I usually do like day before, day of, or something like afternoon, morning of, or whatever. If the test is in the afternoon,
the same, yeah.
But also, that's just like it's not that I didn't learn anything about it. I just a refresher or whatever it is. Like I'm familiar with most of, if not all, of the conversations that we've had on the shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't even know. Like again, technically the things that this is a hobby and all those other things. If it's not making you money, I guess. But it is with the intention of monetizing. I'm talking about like building model airplanes.
Yeah,
like,
we
there's
mean
never
more spiritually a hobby. Yeah, financially we have a lot of hobbies.
Yeah,
but spiritually we don't have a lot of hobbies.
And that's what I mean. Is I guess I need to focus more on what like that kind of shit that I actually like, because those are the things that, and hobbies to me, I guess the best description I can think of personally, hobbies, and it's kind of what you were saying.
Yeah.
It are things that you are doing that you're present at.
Just
You're not looking at your phone. You're not doing something else. You're not like
Yeah. I think it's like you're doing it just cause.
right. Like that's the distraction. This is the thing that you're doing instead of like worrying about other stuff or thinking about other things or
and I think
working or whatever. And I think most of the time it's like hiking. Maybe I'll go back to hiking in Texas. Is probably gonna suck dick.
It'll be chill now.
Literally.
Yeah.
But
Dude, even the heat. Actually, you're gonna have to be careful because the bugs are fucking
yeah,
big as
bugs
shit
and
out
fucking
here.
snakes and scorpions. Like that's the shit that I'm like. I liked hiking through like Pennsylvania because it was like I might come up on a bear or something like that, but I could probably push him over. You know what I mean? Like for the most part, I'm not. But even that is like again, most of my hobbies are like things I'm like I gotta go do something or do like. It's not a lot of like I'm just gonna sit down and read. I can't. I just cannot fucking do that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. That's the kind of person I am.
Tame.
That's
the beat. I'm figuring it out. That's the
but
beast.
it's the same thing with video games. I can't just to me it's the same reflex of like just sitting down and just doing this.
Well, that's why I play Call of Duty. Not necessarily because I like. Well, I think the reason I play Call of Duty versus like more long form video games is probably the same reason why, and a million people have said this, but. You know how like sometimes it's easier to binge watch a whole season of a show rather than watching a 2-hour movie?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like I could play like Call of Duty, I could bow out at any point. Which honestly too, a story game, well, you could technically bow out at any point, but like a lot of the games now especially, you don't get the full experience if you're not just like in it for like at least 3 hours, and that's a lot. That's like it's a big commitment to just be like, oh, I'm gonna do this for at least 3 hours.
But every once in a while, like one of those things that I just don't have consistent like hobby brain. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a thing that works. Arcades work sometimes. Again, hiking or like a activity or shows. Surprisingly enough, like going to concerts or stuff like that.
Yeah.
But again, it all costs you money.
Yeah.
And all of it is it's mainly just like experiences. Like there's not necessarily, I don't get a lot of from video games or a lot of that same feeling from like video games
I don't
or
mean
reading.
to completely derail this, but your glasses go kind of hard.
You
I
like
didn't
it?
realize they basically have like like they do have a frame, but they don't.
Yeah, they're frame.
But it's very thin.
Yeah.
The
Just
fact that it
around
goes
there.
up top around like that.
Yeah.
Very cool. But anyway, it is. I hear what you're saying where it's like you're going because a lot of times you don't associate like an experience with a hobby.
Yeah, or a trip or something.
Yeah, it's like that great Tom Segura joke where he's like, "Oh, my hobby is traveling." And you're like, "Oh, really? You like traveling? What else is your hobby? Blowjobs and good meals?"
Yeah. You love sandwiches and fucking blowjobs and like all this other shit. Yeah.
Everyone always associates a hobby with like almost like you have to defend it. Where you're like, I know this is gay, but I like it. That's what everyone associates a hobby with. But I get what you're saying. Like, I joke about it, but no bullshit. Going to a show, getting a little or a lot drunk, and getting in the pit. It shuts my brain off and it like resets me to like approach the fucking world in a more positive way.
It's stuff that gets me away from looking at my fucking phone. And I gotta tell you, I'm like the more and more leaning towards it, especially after the episode of No More Heroes we just did. Nothing convinces me more that I need to cancel all of my social media and just have and just be away from all of like literally because I feel like I was in bands and shit. I was doing all that shit. I was more active before that. I don't think it's just an age thing.
Can I ask you this?
What?
How often when you're just like watching TV doing shit? How often are you on your phone?
All the time. Too much.
Okay.
It's a thing where like if I put it in the other room, like if I forget about it, I won't look at it.
Well, that's part
and
of
I
what
realized I've just existed multiple hours, if not an entire afternoon.
Yeah.
Afternoon.
Yeah.
Of not looking at my phone. And if I may, I'm where I am now, and I've had the social media this whole time. So like when people are like, "You need it for comedy, you need it for this," like. I go like I get what you're saying, but why don't I like? But I'm not. I don't.
It's like a mixed bag where it's like with the social media. My personal justification why I would always keep that shit like fucking glued to my hip, just continuously lying to myself, is I would be like, well, what if a family member calls and it's something super dire? I need to be like right there.
And you're like, I don't give a fuck
And-
about that. People.
But no, it's like two things. It's like, well, one, that's all the time you've had your phone. That's never happened.
Yeah.
And there's been a million times where you put your phone to the side and then you go back to it an hour or two later and you got a couple updates.
Yeah.
And then also, if you put because I can ignore my phone when it's on the other side of the room. I don't need it in a whole different room.
Yeah.
And you know what you can hear on the other side of the room?
What's that?
A phone ringing.
Right. Right. Turn your ringer on, dickhead.
Yeah, so it's like everyone who's like, that's when you realize you're just like, because you know what I think it is? You know why I think the phone fucks people up, or people let the phone fuck them up more than they want to admit? Is because admitting you're addicted to your phone feels incredibly embarrassing. But here's the actuality. Everyone's addicted to their phone. And even I noticed this when I was younger and everyone was trying to fucking, just shit on young people for they're on their phone too much. Fuck that. When
Yeah.
my parents got phones, you know what they fucking did? My mom would sit on the couch 4 hours playing like Farmville and shit like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like no one is safe from the phone. And
Right.
it's like you need it in the sense that it's like, we got to text people and we got to call people, and like occasionally, like with comedy, someone messages you through Instagram. But it's like,
But that's the other
having
thing.
it glued to your hip is it's the addiction justifying your overuse.
That's the other frustrating thing that I'm realizing also is the fact that is messaging on Instagram is that's the thing that I'm most active on. That's the thing I have the most following on, or whatever, most followers, literally.
the most
on.
interaction.
Most interaction, all that other stuff. So okay, but also I've noticed that if for just some fucking reason, even if you're friends, if you're not friends, whatever, you could send somebody a message and it just doesn't go in your inbox. It'll just go into I check it multiple times because now I've been aware of it. But there's been multiple people that if I see in person, they're like, Pat, what's going on, man? And hugging me and doing all, how you been? Blah, blah, blah. I've sent a message to, and I'm like, they're just not reading my message, and I take it personally. And that's what I'm saying is like all this stuff, that's what I'm saying is like,
fucks with your head and doesn't.
I
need
know
to.
this person.
Yeah.
I don't but if for some reason that Instagram deems me a weird threat or them too popular to be talking to me or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck it may be, I go into this file and you're just in that file. And if they don't ever check that, then it takes so much of your identity away, and it takes so much of this thing away where it's like this existence, if we didn't have power, this means nothing. If we don't have electricity, this means absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So I can be funny in person. I don't have to edit to be funny. I don't have to do all this other bullshit. So if I think it's keeping me from being a more interesting, introspective, good person.
I felt a
I
similar
really do
thing
feel
with
that.
it.
And I have not felt that more until coming here to where mate, I am making friends.
Yeah.
I'm making new friends. I'm talking to people. But the time where I feel like I'm most disconnected from everything is when I'm on social media.
Yeah.
And it's like, that doesn't make any sense because I'm very much ingrained in this society, the comedy community, at least, especially with
dude, I can tell
with the
you
Creek
this.
even.
How long you been here? 4 or 5 months?
Yeah, a couple, since July.
Since July. So July.
And I met some,
Yeah. But either when
August,
I first got here, if I would bring
4
you
months.
up, when you first got here, if I would bring you up, you would be like, "Oh, he's the guy with you and Lemaire all the time."
Yeah.
Now I go Pat. They go, "Oh yeah, I know Pat."
Yeah.
You've gotten pretty ingrained in the Austin community fairly quickly.
And not because of social media. I don't believe it's because of social media. I think it's the impression that I make in person. So
Yeah.
I think going forward, I think definitely with a better mental health in mind and doing all this other stuff, I think I'm going to limit, if not, I'm definitely erasing them from my phone. I'm not doing which is going to suck for Instagram, but I can't erase my accounts, obviously, because I want to test it. I want to see if I can limit it, because if I can't control this, I will have to fucking just erase it and just exist on YouTube and in person like a weirdo.
Yeah.
And it will force me to be more engaging in person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And be more personable. I mean, I don't talk to people on the phone. I can't tell you the last time I called my mom. I don't call people. I don't talk to people. I don't
No.
it's literally it is a thing that is.
You used to burp way louder before Instagram.
I used to do it on mic until this motherfucker made me feel judged. No, but there is like also.
That's ironic,
I don't
you-
want you burping on my mics.
Well, no, the irony is I've been burping on mic so much lately.
But the fact that like this thing that it is meant to, and the reason like I feel obligated to have it is for interaction, but I have way more interaction or more substantial interaction in person.
Yeah, more substantive
And
interaction.
I'm less connected to people I actually physically know. I've met them and
So-
grew up with them. My best friend back in Florida, other friends that I've had.
Yeah.
That like, for some reason, friendships that I've made and people that I've done that I'm less connected to.
Yeah.
And it's more of the algorithm telling me what I'm connected to. And it's like, no, I'm not connected to that. And I think that's
Well,
part
I
of
always-
the identity crisis and the not feeling, because I feel like even if I am doing research or I'm doing another thing, I need to also be present.
Well,
I need to
also
be
say,
present.
I think
you know?
the reason
And I'm not being present.
I think the reason but don't worry, Christmas is coming up, so you'll get presents.
I've been a good boy.
I mean, you're a little naughty boy though. But no, I think I've always made this analogy with social media and shit like that, where you could be because the thing I was realizing it was like two things. One, it's just making me fucking angry.
Yeah.
Social media was just, they show you shit that gets big emotions from you, and I'm the type of guy, I'm more gonna lean into what pisses me off over what puts me in a good mood. I'm just a born fucking grumpy Italian fuck.
Yeah.
It just is who I am.
No, that's a real thing. Like where you're
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna sit here and just hate watch every one of these videos, or I'm gonna watch this. That's the thing.
Well, I don't actually I don't consciously hate watch.
No, but you're stuck in that cycle,
It gets
yeah.
me stuck in that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I want to see
then-
another pedophile get beat up.
And then the other one for me that kind of made me reassess it is I was just like, bro, I wasted so much time. And this is why I make the analogy where I go like, social media is like eating potato chips. Because like I was hanging out with Steph the other night, and we were watching some Charles Manson show, and we watched like 2 episodes. And the end of the first episode and the whole second episode, Twitter. And by the end of it, I couldn't tell you what the fuck. I
That's what I'm
couldn't tell you
saying.
what the fuck I looked at on Twitter. I don't know what the fuck happened in the show.
Right.
I didn't talk to my wife for 40 minutes
What am I
straight.
intaking? What am
Yeah,
I looking
And
at?
that's what happens when you eat like fucking potato chips, junk food in general. You could wolf down a whole bag of potato chips. Do you feel any more full?
Can I tell
Never.
you? Can I tell you why low key the greatest dish that was brought to Thanksgiving was the salad? Because
Yeah.
that bowl of salad, like literally, working on the food truck, we do offer a salad, but a lot of times I'm eating chicken fingies, or I'm eating sliders, or I'm eating chicken wings.
It's
or
rough to like
French
pick
fries.
the salad when all that shit's right there.
And that's what I'm saying is unless you actually have it there,
yeah.
and you have a salad, like that's how you shit effectively.
Yeah.
is the healthy things you do
Yeah.
as well. It's not saying you can't have unhealthy things. It's just saying you got to throw in healthy things too,
Plus, and dude-
because otherwise you're going to feel bad, and you're going to sit here, and we're fucking adults in our goddamn 30s that are going like, why do I feel like poopy? And it's like, because you've been eating poopy.
You eat like
you've
shit.
been
and you
eating
don't
like an
go-
idiot.
You eat like shit. You're on Twitter all day.
And I've been yes,
dude, it's
my
similar.
cycle is waking up, shitting, flicking through my phone, turning on TV, flicking. Flicking sounds like I'm masturbating, but I'm like just literally, I'm just doom scrolling. Like not even doom scrolling. I'm not intaking either one of them.
No, well, that's the problem. Is
Multitasking
You
is-
think you're multitasking, and you're
No.
like, you're rapid fire through Twitter, so you're not intaking any of
It's
that.
the double distract.
Yeah, and then you don't know, bro. I was doing that this morning trying to watch Y-Files videos about the fucking moon. There's this one video I can't tell you how many times I backed it up because I kept pulling my fucking phone out. But no, it goes back to my analogy where it's like this shit's fucking like you were saying with like eating a fucking salad. That's what just sitting down to watch a documentary, pulling out a book. It's like. Each show, like in our day-to-day world, it's so easy to just get junk food. Like if I just go throughout my day, I will be around junk food and empty calorie type of food way more often than I'm around fucking salad and chicken and rice and broccoli and shit.
Nobody's
going to
be promoting healthy eating to you. You're an adult.
You
Everybody assumes you know what you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Stupid. Like.
And then, but also, you know what the problem is too is those apps and all the social media praise off FOMO because that's the what you sound like boomers.
You said those apps.
Yeah,
and that's what reminded. But it actually reminded me of Nate last night.
Oh,
you
dude.
got YouTube on this thing,
dude.
Unc Nate, dude, Unc Nate was absolutely cemented in legacy last night.
Yeah, if you listen to Panties, you might think Unc Nate is a bit.
It's not a bit,
bro. He's Unc all the time.
He asked me if I have YouTube on my Apple TV, but he said,
"Oh, he literally goes, yeah,
you got YouTube on that thing."
He asked, "Do you got YouTube on that?"
Stretching.
Thing?
He was like stretching as he said it.
Yeah, he was.
Like,
he was leaning across the couch.
He's like, "What do you got? YouTube on this thing? Pull up funny cat videos."
No.
What
That's
was it?
not how he brought it up. This was asking you got YouTube on your Apple TV.
It lost me. Yeah,
it wasn't even the worst. The thing that got me was he literally said to you, he's like, "Have you guys seen?" He said,
"Oh yeah."
He goes, "Have you guys seen these fail videos?" I was like, "Bro, but how old are you?"
But in his defense, did we not fucking love those fail videos?
Bro, for like that was the thing. Everyone put their phone down and we watched fail videos, we watched cat videos, we watched dog videos for like an hour or two. Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. That's
dude, Nate is such Unc. It's crazy.
I'm sorry, but when you're just like, when you look at those apps, when you got all these apps here and you're just sitting here looking at your apps and it's like, yeah, I get it. But it's also like,
yeah, Nate, YouTube's on shit you don't think it's on. It's on everything.
It's on everything, bro.
Oh, but what was I saying about the fucking apps? Because I was talking about empty calories.
Yeah, you're around that. Nobody's gonna promote the salads to you. Like you're looking at all these apps. I'm sorry. That just reminded me.
No, it was fine. It was the funniest thing to bring up.
You saying these apps
because I was.
But you saying the apps and then me going like, yeah, these fucking apps are out of control. What are we gonna do about them?
I'm trying to remember.
Sorry,
it'll come back to me.
That's my bad.
It was just basically the like structure of it, how it sort of effect. Because what was I talking about? How it was like I kept having to like back up on.
Yeah, you were trying. Yeah, you're multitasking, but you're not doing anything
you're not, like,
effectively.
Doing anything. Yeah, they just like suck shit. They suck. I wish they sucked you off. No, they suck your time off.
But dude, and it's speaking of suck offs, it always leads to me doing something like look, there's nothing wrong with masturbating. There's nothing wrong with pornography.
Yeah.
In moderation.
Yeah.
But when it's an impulse or what is it called? Like a habit.
Yeah.
Then that's the other thing. So like if I'm looking at social media, eventually, even though if I'm not seeking titties will find their way into my algorithm. Dude. And it'll be like, damn, what's her Instagram? What's her fucking
Instagram Discover?
Yeah.
Because, dude, I know.
I'm not ashamed.
I know, dude. I was ashamed of mine today.
I'll show you right now.
I was on my Instagram today.
You can even look for it yourself.
And
I want to. There's no interaction. There's no. What is it?
It's not as horny. It's pretty horny.
It's still horny, right? Like
yeah, it's
I'm horny.
The top layer's not horny, and then we start to get horny on the second layer.
But
all your layers are like 50% horny. No, I'm trying to say, dude, like when I opened it up to just the fucking you click Discovery, I think there was 2 that weren't horny. Yeah. I was like, oh my Christ.
Wait, what are the horny? Oh yeah, there's a horny one.
I've been following a lot of.
But most of it is like it's weird too because like I don't look at celebrity hot broads or anything like that. But I'm like they're like, hey. you want, Jennifer Lawrence is pretty hot. You're like, oh, what about the girl from Stranger Things? What if we AI'd her as Rogue? It's like, I'm not even that kind of guy. Like, but it's the fact that like, it's just, it is, whether it is or not, it's a distraction, because then I'm like, oh, that turns me into this, and I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to go find that. Then I'm going to search. Then it's just the hunt of just distractions, just wormholes for nothing. And legitimately, that nothing has convinced me more that it's the right move than also all my friends going like, well, you got to have it for social media. You got to have it for, and I'm like, yeah, but like, I don't have that.
I think like,
you know what I'm saying? Like, I could either build it, yeah, sure, or do a bunch of stuff I don't want to do. I've tried to build it the way I have.
Yeah.
I don't have it yet. I'm gonna just squat on the names. I'm gonna still put out content and everything like that, but it's just gonna be put up after the fact. I'm not gonna do it from my phone anymore. I can't. Like, it is keeping me from these things. I'm not deleting it. I think that's the takeaway, is to try to recalibrate or reestablish control over my life.
Yeah.
I need to take it, like, I need to not be so infatuated with it.
Yeah, I think I would argue it might be, well, I know there's like certain political people who, but you're not like a political guy like that. So there's certain political people who their Twitter is super beneficial to them. I would argue it might be, there is a sense where you may not necessarily need it. I think for like comedy and shit, a Twitter, but like, yeah, I will say the only argument I would say to keep Instagram is just because sometimes people literally use it. Like whenever, if I don't have your number, you're hitting me up on Instagram.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like
But that being said, the last thing I'll say. That being said, it is also too. It's like yeah, well, people always like contextualize it wrong. Where they'll be like, well, you got to have it for comedy, and you're like, you're technically right. But also, we could all use it 99% less and be still fine. Yeah,
I will tell you 100%. I'd rather take the risk mentally, like happiness-wise. Like, if I'm going to be unsuccessful, like, let me just say, if I'm going to be unsuccessful.
I'm so excited for the end of this sentence.
I'd much rather do it where I'm mentally healthy and then doing it to try to please somebody else or try to go like, well, you got to have this, of like, yeah, but I feel like the more I have that, I feel less happy. Well, so like, if that's what I need, then maybe I'm in the wrong thing, or maybe the thing I hear about a lot is a lot of times comics that break the thing that you're not supposed to do. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the thing where you're like, you're never supposed to, like Andy Kaufman. Don't treat the audience like they're a bunch of fucking assholes. And they're like, wait a minute, you're supposed to entertain the people? And he's like, yeah, but I'm going to try this thing where I treat them all like a bunch of fucking assholes. Well, and he's huge.
There is also an argument. There is also an argument, too, where it's like, I mean, Shane's a really good example. Shane never tweets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not like if you go to people and you go, what got you into Shane Gillis? And they'll be like, that Twitter account.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
Social media presence.
And it's like, no, he fucking has the biggest comedy podcast in the fucking world. Maybe he's like second to Kill Tony or some shit like that. He has the biggest comedy podcast in the fucking world. And it's like, dude, if you're a fan of Shane Gillis or you're going to see Shane Gillis live, did you really get a ticket because you saw it on Twitter?
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You may have seen, again, he can advertise on Twitter or Instagram. He probably got a ticket
because he brought it up on the podcast.
Like, and that's the thing is you have these things, you have, it's another element that at some point I would love to get successful enough to where I need to have a social media presence. But the social media presence
is like forcing you to do it,
right? Where it's not, or just hire somebody. I would like if I ever need it so bad. I hope that I'm at a point where I need somebody, or I can pay somebody to do it. That's the kind of investment. Like the same thing. I don't like doing lawn work. I've never liked doing lawn work. I don't like doing it. I don't have that gene. But like, even if I got my own home or anything like that, I would still pay somebody to maintain it.
I don't have any jeans to do this in.
I don't have any more New Balance.
All I have is nice jeans. I don't have an old pair of jeans.
But like, I'm still like, I would pay for that comfort at our apartment complex. We pay an extra $35 to have valet trash, to have them come by and pick up our trash, because I don't want to walk it all the way across the facility.
Where would you have to walk?
It's literally on the corner we're on.
Yeah.
It's the exact past where you parked.
Dude, that's what moving out of that's why moving out sucked extra.
Yeah.
Because we have a thing where you can put out big items. Trash man will pick it up like whenever they get around to it, but you have to put it by the recycling. And they had a shit ton of garbage cans, but the only recycling cans are on the opposite side.
Yeah.
So, dude, like, we got this shitty little fucking dolly, and just having to move couches and all this other shit on that was a nightmare. But I get that. Yeah, no, because people might be like, Pat's being lazy. No, his apartment complex is huge, and he lives on the 3rd floor. I do the same shit.
Right, and that's so, like, it's a thing where, like, I want... those are the things I'll pay.
Trash can? Or one fucking dumpster?
It's like one big trash compactor.
Oh, that's so annoying.
Yeah.
You guys got it.
And how many fucking dickheads just lay their trash bags at the foot of there's like a little ramp that goes up. Yeah. There's like a fenced off area where they actually have to like go into, if they're replacing the thing, right? Like where the truck does it, but it stays locked. And then there's a little ramp up or stairs on this side that you can walk up, and there's like a hole that you throw your trash in.
They just leave it outside?
They just leave it at the foot of the ramp.
Huh.
Animals. Fucking animals. I'm telling you.
Absolutely.
But those are the things.
Absolute
like
trash people.
Those are the things that like I would pay for, or the conveniences that I pay for, that I would rather do this than have to do. When we moved, like, instead of moving the shit up to the 3rd floor, we paid movers. Like,
that's what we did.
Those are the things those are the luxuries that I would pay for. Like, I know I can do it, but I don't want to fucking do it. And I have the luxury that I can afford, or I will save up for extra for that. We
loaded up last apartment. From PA to Jersey, we loaded up a moving truck, and after we did that, I go to Steph. I go, never again.
Right. Yeah.
So we paid for a moving company.
So like those are the things that like over time, I'd rather pay by not being super active on social media, and for my mental health and for a possibility of success in real life, than like going like, I got to figure out how to get more followers or what. Like, I've done pretty good not doing, I don't think, anything right. I don't think I've done anything the way you're supposed to do it. And I feel like I'm in an okay spot, let's just say, for right now. But I'm not lighting it up on social media. I like doing clips. I like doing all that stuff. So I'm not going to completely get rid of it. But for the most part, having it so accessible right at my hip, like you said.
I remember what I was going to say.
Perfect.
You got me back to what I was going to say, because that's what I was realizing
on purpose.
Where I was trying to get myself with Twitter and Instagram, because like I was like, I used to always be like, I got to have an active presence, and I got to do this and got to do that. And it's like we were talking about before, where it's just like with the Shane analogy. It's like, no, I discovered Shane because he had such good tweets. And it's like, no, you discovered him because he made really good shit.
Right.
And now you want to be a fan. Now you listen to his fucking podcast. And so that's why I try to have the mindset, because I got to be honest, like I love Twitter because I love Twitter because I love thinking of jokes. Like I did. I put out a tweet today where I realized I did 3 moon tweet jokes in a row.
Yeah.
And I had to be like, sorry for all the moon jokes. I'm researching for a podcast, so I got a lot of moon jokes in my head.
Yeah.
But I just try to tweet for fun, and that's what I realized, where like if you're so this is what I was going to say earlier, if you're too locked into all these social medias, I was noticing it at times before, where you start getting yourself in this like groupthink mentality, and you start realizing you're mentally a part of this like big herd rather than just being your own unique person. And for a guy who podcasts and gives you his opinions all the time, it's more beneficial if I'm myself rather than, part of this like big groupthink entity. So that was pointing itself out to me, where I'm like, go on, like when you're bored, tell a couple jokes, and then fucking put the phone down and go back to like just being a person.
Yeah. And I think I'm gonna. It's just it is more of an obligation. I don't enjoy
My
it.
wife's sending me cat pics. That's why I check my phone.
There's, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not. I don't enjoy it. I don't like social media. Like necessarily, I do like the fact that it gives people a chance to interact or to comment on the things that we're putting out there, because that is really truly what I am trying to put out there, is to say like, here's what I thought about the thing that happened, or this album, or this whatever, or whatever this thing is.
Yeah.
And getting that interaction and actually talking to people about it, whether it be like, oh shit, I thought of that, or oh my god, that's so cool that I never thought of it that way, or I always thought this.
That is the fun part with the music shit.
The recourse, like the discourse.
Speaking of music, by the way, we do have a lot of stuff we're gonna get to.
It's just right. We're like the
right there.
It's almost there.
It's like the pre-show.
But yeah,
we're right there.
But like that's the thing is like I'll tell you what, the past few jokes that I've written have not been while I was scrolling on my phone.
Yeah, they never are.
It's when I'm doing something that I'm interested in, or that I'm or when I'm working.
You have like a real emotion.
Doing either mindless work or doing some kind of repetitive or meditative work. Yeah. Where it's like I'm not actually sitting there like just in taking stuff. I'm thinking of that stuff. So it's actually, if anything, it is stifling. Like I said,
can I ask you this?
What?
I don't mean to cut you off, but because I have these weird moments where I feel like I'm spiritually going through, I'm just gonna be full white bitch right now, when I'm sort of guiding myself in a positive spiritual direction, I notice things end up happening, good things end up happening more often when I'm leaning into more toxic behavior. Because like it happened today, I was like I'm just gonna chill the fuck out. I'm gonna make sure I'm prepared for this show for No More Heroes. Also, Drag the Lake. We got a lot of stuff to get to.
So prepared.
Super prepared for Drag the Lake today. But no, I was like, I'm going to make sure I'm prepared for No More Heroes, and I'm just going to relax. I'm going to play this game. And then I get like, I'm just doing that, and I'm staying focused, and I'm doing positive shit. I'm not on my phone every fucking second.
Yeah.
And then my phone rings, and I got a cool little opportunity comedy-wise. And it's like, it just came out of nowhere. And I was just kind of like, I feel like the universe rewarded me right there. They said, you're being a good person. Yeah. You're being beneficial to the universe. Here's a little more now.
Right.
And I think, I don't know. I always wonder where I'm like, because I get fucked up. I'm going to get real heady for a second. I get fucked up because I'm like, I'm not going to like jerk myself off, but I'm good at podcasting. I'm good at stand-up. And I always just like, it always like fuck me up where I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be like the fucking top dog, but I always just was like, I feel like I'd be farther than
I can
this.
entertain people. I feel like
I'd be farther than this. I feel like more people would have asked me to like do more things and would have given me more opportunities. And I always wonder, I'm like, dude, I wonder, because don't get me wrong, I've had a lot of moments where I'm like outwardly a really nice guy, but I've had like a lot of moments where I'm alone and I'm just being a nasty fucker and I'm like a really toxic person. And I go, God, I gotta wonder if it's just this thing of like, you put out good energy and then good vibrations come back to you. Have I just been pumping out bad vibrations the whole fucking time? And it's like, there's no positivity to resonate back to me. And it kind of goes back to the fucking thing where it's like, the thing that'll get me good vibrations? Not being on my goddamn phone all the time, because when I'm on my phone, I turn into a grumpy fuck.
Right. And I'm not as engaged. It's one of those things where I'm just like, it's just a different reality that is not a reality.
Yeah.
It's a perceived reality. And that's the thing is like, I'm not good. You know what it is? I'm not great at lying. I'm
the exact same. I always joke with my wife. I go, half the reason I don't cheat on you is because I'd be incredibly bad at it.
Well, the crazy thing is like is in real life. Like if I'm like I can bullshit, no problem.
Yeah.
To where people plenty of times have been like, "Are you for real? Is that for like?" And you're just like, "No, I was fucking with you." Like, oh shit, like that kind of thing. Where it's like, but also, maybe I'm too convincing. But that's another thing of like, it's a performance. Like, so that's when you're like, no, I have a natural ability to perform. I can act, I can do comedy, I can do like any of those things. It's the same thing of it's almost like like I can't fake it on the internet.
Yeah,
Do
you
you know what I'm
can't-
saying? Like like the people go
can't
like,
be
just
a
be
character.
be your genuine person. Like I'm like I am, but I feel like I'm kind of boring. Like as
Yeah.
far as like what I'm going to like
Well,
what
and all-
my day to day.
There's a lot of times
But
too.
if I share my opinions and all this stuff, I just feel like the opinion sharing part of the internet is the part that's so fucking annoying.
Well, that's how
and
I feel.
frustrating that's the part that gets me angry. And I'm like, wait, I don't want to contribute to that. I do have my opinions, but it's also like if I can.
Well, you're probably like me in that where because like when I follow a lot of like I get really into the politics shit sometimes, and a lot of people in the political space, I feel a lot of pressure because I see all the other people in the political space.
Yeah.
they're tweeting all fucking day, giving their whole fucking breakdown. of
Can
every
you
little
believe this
thing.
congressional hearing?
Yeah,
You're like,
or not
no.
even that, dude. They're just writing a paragraph about every fucking thing that happens, and I go, bro, look at like I mean, dude, if you watch a Big Red in the Morning stream, I did one recently that ended up being like 5 hours, and I took the footage and I was chopping it up for clips, and I go, let me see how much I actually like talked, and I just cut out all the like breaks in between the main topics, and it was still like 3.5 hours. So like I can give you my opinion on shit for a while,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, and about politics and everything. But there's something about the guy who writes his manifesto on Twitter that gives me douche chills.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing. You go, you're not
Opening the discourse.
Well, I
you're
think
not
a lot
saying
of-
like you have a comment section going this whole time.
And I
too.
think a lot of times too, people will, because like with all the shit with social media and shit getting artificially boosted, and then other shit getting shadow banned, everyone's convinced that like, or not everyone, but a lot of people are convinced that like social media is like high level manipulating us. So it's like I catch myself doing this sometimes where it's like you don't even trust your emotions. You're like, am I just getting manipulated by something, man?
Yeah.
But at the same time though, like like I joke and call it douche chills, but like you feel that in your gut.
Yeah.
And you're not feeling that in your gut because, what, a Twitter algorithm like tricked you.
Right.
You could get wrong information.
Yeah.
But like that guttural feeling of like, this feels terrible to do this. It's almost like it's like if your whole body is responding like that, listen to your body.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
That's
saying.
why I
is,
got to
like,
eat vegetables. I need to listen to my body and eat vegetables.
That's why I had a big ass salad yesterday.
Yeah, dude.
Before I ate tons of donuts and cupcakes.
Yeah, those supermarket donuts. I love
I ate two of
shitty
them this morning.
supermarket donuts.
So good.
With too much glaze on them. Those
yeah.
cookies ripped.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's just overall, and like the whole time we had. I actually looked aside from like I was texting with Sean with Gardini texted me Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, hope you're having a safe one or whatever. And I was like, I'm with these faggots or whatever,
Yeah.
and like and he goes,
Cool, dude.
but that was like literally.
Wow, what a funny text. No.
But that was, and I sent a picture. It's a nice picture of you guys, the one I shared online. But that's literally the only picture I took because I was not on my phone. I
Yeah.
wasn't looking at my phone at all.
Well, I laughed.
Except for to look up those dang apps for Nate.
Well, I laughed
we're
too
just having
when-
a nice conversation and joking around and like just hanging out with my friends.
Yeah.
That's genuinely like if I don't feel like
Yeah.
I'm like I need to be more personable. Like no matter what it is, like the problem isn't technology. It's not the fact that I'm whatever. It's a lane for people. I can't say it's right or wrong. Social media does serve a purpose, I'm sure. I haven't figured out a purpose, or I don't feel like I can effectively serve any kind of purpose on that.
I'll say this. I think most people underestimate how much social media affects them. And that's where I'm coming to a place where
To me, it's more negative than positive.
And I think for me, especially like my general mood, that's why I was just like Twitter, I realized it was more of an addiction where I was just like, Twitter's just not like fun how it used to be, in my opinion, where I'm just mad at all the time.
It's just, I'm mad, then I get
It just
horny, then I
shows
get
me-
fucking morny.
Even if it's not like a political thing, it'll just show me the dumbest fucking opinion I've ever seen. And I'm the type of guy where like, dude, I had this actually. This will kind of lead us into our first topic about music. But I had this one tweet that was making me laugh. Where there was this one person, they tweeted, they go, "Please stop calling Knock Loose a hardcore band." And also, too, this is, by the way, where social media turns you into a nasty fucker.
Yeah.
You know what I tweeted? I retweeted that and I go, they're a hardcore band. Just to be a dick.
Yeah.
And then they go, no one's watching that podcast clip, buddy. Give it up. And then I can't help myself. I had to like stop and go like, don't say any slurs or anything.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm half kidding. But like, I was like, even, the second I saw that, and there was another dude on TikTok who was fucking commenting on our Primus clip. And I immediately saw that and I was just like, I think I was joking about someone like this on Twitter where I goes, I'm not wishing for your death, but if you die, I'd feel nothing. And you're like,
Yeah.
I know we're being funny, but that's also psychotic.
Yeah,
It's like psychotic behavior, and it's like I am able to get myself worked up in a way where I go, I want your life to be ruined.
Right.
And you're like, dude, chill the fuck out.
And that's the thing is when I'm on Twitter and I disagree with somebody, I either like keep scrolling or I don't like I specifically don't like I do not engage on online like that.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, it's just my opinion. Like I was able to suss that out. So that's why I'm like, I'm not even using this effectively. I'm not even arguing the way you're supposed to argue on Twitter or any of that shit because I'm just like, oh, I don't like this. If I see some bullshit in my algorithm, then I'm like, I don't fucking like how many times did Spotify continuously suggest Fugazi to me? And I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
Like, stop doing this.
Yeah.
I do not want to hear this. I don't like this fucking band.
But
I don't necessarily like copy it and go like, oh, fuck these little fucking idiots. Like,
just keep it moving.
Yeah, just keep going. Unless it gets to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna tag Spotify in a post that says stop, and I'm also gonna tag
your algorithm.
I'm also gonna tag Fugazi.
Ian Mackay and go, hey, you wear stupid hats.
But legitimately, this is all stuff that like I'm being genuine, and I'm not doing it for like the algorithm or the clicks or something. Like I'm not just saying we weren't going off on how much Primus sucks because we wanted to piss off a bunch of Primus fans. It's because it's genuinely how we feel.
Yeah.
And it's like a thing where I'm not just doing it to start an argument. And when you said people were commenting negatively on it on like Twitter or TikTok or whatever,
It was funny.
It's also, but it's exactly. It's very funny.
When people comment that and they go, nah, actually, and you're like, oh yeah, please correct me.
Yeah, go ahead. But it's like, but it's that thing of like, it is. I don't like. That's not what we were doing it for. But it's like the fact that it does that is also like, I also don't give a shit. I'm not gonna argue with you. Like we've already made our point. You made your point. But if I were to see that video, I would just go, all right, well, I'm just gonna keep scrolling. I disagree. I won't like it. You know what I mean?
Also too like I get myself in these, and I don't. It's like whatever. I'm like past regretting things. I think. Although I probably should still try to regret stuff.
Yeah.
But no, it's like I posted it on TikTok and there was someone, because they triggered me because I posted on TikTok and then they go, oh, you have a Slam poster. We recorded at your place and you got the 6 a.m. poster. And they go, you have a Slam poster. That tells me all I need to tell you. That tells me all I need to know. And I go, the poster doesn't say Slam. It says 6 a.m. It's my friend's podcast. And then they go, why the fuck would I care about his podcast? And I go, no, I'm explaining to you. You're too dumb to even.
You're wrong.
You're too dumb to critique me.
Yeah.
And then they go, well, even if that's true, not knowing Slam explains everything I need to know. And it's like, okay, so first off, being a fan of Slam made me null and void on my opinion.
But now that I don't even know who they are.
Now that I don't know Slam, I'm also stupid.
Right.
And then I just.
And also, who said I didn't know Slam? I just maybe don't have their
also,
poster.
I know what fucking Slam is, retard.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then you're like, why am I getting mad?
Well,
what
no,
am I
and then
getting
literally, I was being funny about it, but literally, my Steph goes like, we were leaving to go to your place. And she was like, "What were you doing in the bath? I thought you just had to piss. Why are you in the bathroom so long?" And I go, "I'm sorry. I had to fight with people on TikTok." And then she was like, "We're going to be late to the party because you were fighting with people on TikTok." We were early.
That's true, yeah.
And then, but no, it just is a thing of like, well, you know what my problem is? I realized this recently, and it's why I have anger issues, is because, not to do a whole my childhood, but when I was a kid, my parents were very emotionless.
Yeah.
But the only time I would get like real reactions from them is if I like pissed them off. So I think I associate pissing people off with like being seen or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I get this. I think sometimes I act like I'm non-confrontational. And I am to a degree, but the second I get the green light to confrontation, I get fucking in that shit. I'm sure you've seen it.
And it's not healthy. And like that's
It's not good at all.
And it doesn't actually solve anything. It might be a funny story later on.
But it's not good.
But it's not good. Right.
Yeah.
That's overall, it's not worth it. I'd rather have an actual interaction with somebody in person. You know what I mean? Like, and actually that's a better story.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
We trick ourselves into thinking like, no, I'm gonna read the comments and I'm really gonna experience. You don't need to do any of that. The comments are 10 out of 10 times a cesspool.
Right. I do check the comments I do check the comments, but literally just to see if somebody's legitimately the one you posted about when we were talking about the aliens one. Like I was getting tagged in those comments and people were saying my name.
Yeah.
Like, so I'll like them or I'll interact with those people, but I will legitimately, if somebody doesn't say anything nice, I just don't respond. Or because I found if I do, then I get reported and then I get all this other shit. And it's like this thing of like, then the person follows me and likes every one of my posts.
And if someone makes a fake account to shit on you,
it doesn't make any.
You bring in weirdness into your life.
Where I'm like, wait, I don't even actually give a fuck. And that's the thing is I also invite those people to say it to my face.
Well, that's why
that's the thing is like, I'm a big, if don't tell kind of thing of like that thing of like, look, I don't feel this passionately enough to where I would scream this to your face or get into an altercation with you. So I don't feel like I even should share it online.
Yeah, I mean,
but like those people that's why I'm saying like even if you did say this to my face, I go, okay.
See, I'm
whatever.
the opposite.
I don't fucking care.
I'm the opposite. I get activated where I go, you're a drain on society.
Yeah.
You need to be demolished. And that's when I turn into my psycho-ness.
Yeah, I turn into it does I don't care. None of this matters. You don't matter, I don't matter. Like literally that's like I'm just like, all right, man, just keep scrolling.
No, see,
or I love to a negative comment, I go, thanks for watching.
Oh yeah. Well, I
still got a view. I don't care.
There are some. The ones that trigger me is someone who's very confident, but they're clearly incredibly
dumb
lacking
and wrong.
in knowledge.
Yeah.
That's what triggers me. If you see me arguing with someone online, that's what happened. That's why that triggers me. Every fucking time. I'm working on it, but it triggers me every fucking time.
I gotta pee so bad.
What?
I gotta pee so bad.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, okay. I know you have to pee, but we do have to talk about... did you see Knock Loose on Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really good. All right, guys. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Be about a peace.
See you guys.